So, hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Kickabout. So, my name is Leah Joy and I'm going to be hosting this episode. So, it has been a while, but we are back to talk about all things football. The Kickabout is a series of interviews where we talk to some incredible women in football. And today I'm joined by a truly inspiring individual, Beatrice Rogers. So, Beatrice is an 18-year-old underarm athlete from Cambridge. She has been playing since she was 9 years old and now strives to become an inspiration for other young girls through her incredible work on social media. So, Beatrice, it's fantastic to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a very, very kind introduction. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, cool. So I want to start off by talking about your experience growing up in a family of football fanatics. Did you guys all support the same team, or was there still like friendly rivalry going on there?
Yeah, so I grew up in a really sporty family. Both my parents were really into athletics and other sports when we were younger. But actually, no one else in my family plays football.
Right.
It's just me. However, my mum is a massive football fan. She's a huge Arsenal fan.
Okay.
And it's kind of gathered us all. We're all Arsenal fans now, to be honest. But we were lucky enough we had season tickets at the Emirates when I was younger. So we got them when I was about 7 years old, and I remember I used to turn up to the games with like a little notebook. I'd sit down and I'd just like take note of everything. The match and the environment fascinated me from such a young age. And I think that's probably where I fell in love with football and what kind of just got me to where I am now.
That's amazing. So what was the first game that you went to go watching?
So I don't remember the first game off the top of my head, it's a while ago now.
Yeah.
One that stands out to me the most from when I was younger is I remember going to watch Arsenal play Leicester.
Right.
In the season when Leicester won the title. And I think they only lost to Arsenal that season. And I remember it was like last minute of the game, Danny Welbeck scores the winning goal. And just the atmosphere, I don't think I've felt anything similar to that. It was incredible, and the whole stadium stayed behind afterwards to celebrate it. And we were just singing Arsenal chants and stuff. Just that kind of the atmosphere and stuff from that game really sticks out to me.
That's amazing. I think being so young as well and just witnessing all that must have been incredible. Must be such a cool memory for you as well.
Yeah.
And then let's fast forward a bit. Then you started playing football when you were about 9 years old, if I'm right. So what was that like?
So I played my first football match when I was 9 years old, but before then I was kicking a ball around, always had one with me. But when I was in primary school, they had a boys' football team. There wasn't a girls' one. And they didn't quite have enough numbers to make the extra team. They were missing a couple of people. Yeah. So they asked a few girls to play in the team. And it was incredible. We were, me and a couple of others, we were so much better than the boys. I remember the first match we played, and it was me and two other girls and the rest were boys. Yeah. And we won 13-1. And all us three girls, we each scored 4 goals in that match. We were the best on the team. But it didn't last as long as I would have liked. Unfortunately, quite soon after we played our first match, we were kicked off the team because some of the opposition parents complained about there being girls on the team. So that was quite a lot to take as a 9-year-old. But it didn't stop me. I joined a girls' football team outside of school quite soon after that, which was nice.
Wow. That must be really hard for you as well. I think being so young and you're suddenly having to face these issues, especially when you've got adults saying they don't want girls playing as well. What was that like for you and for your parents as well? Because I can imagine it's quite hard for your parents to hear that.
So I don't think I fully understood what was happening. Yeah. Like, obviously, whatever the reason was, I was heartbroken to not be allowed to play on the team because I was loving it. I just managed to persuade my parents into it. I don't really know the whole situation of how it went down. I just remember getting kicked off the team, which was rough.
And then when you went into high school, there wasn't even a girls' football team there either because of lack of numbers as well. So why do you think it is that teenagers, and in particular girls, lose interest in sport around that age?
I think there are quite a lot of barriers to sport, particularly at that age as a girl. I think quite a big one is you become quite self-conscious and maybe like about your body, how you look and how you look playing sport and stuff. And I think there's so many issues with that, like having to get changed in school. I think that's probably an issue for people.
Yeah.
Who don't feel comfortable or like how they look in the sports kit, just that kind of stuff. Or the fact that you have to go and run around and get sweaty and then you have to go sit in a classroom the rest of the day. I know a lot of people who really dislike that. And I think these are all things that just put people off it. Like, why would you want to go and run around and get sweaty at lunchtime? To sit in a classroom all day. So I think they're just like small barriers, but there's quite a lot of them, and it just kind of adds up. And I think at that age, it's potentially easier for some people just to fall out of love with sport.
Yeah. And I think that's an issue a lot of organisations within football are trying to tackle now, because I think it's that age range that people tend to drop out of sport. So I think they are working to tackle issues like that and to really find out what it is that's causing that, as well as what we can do to help with things like that. And then you were scouted for the FA development programme, which is super exciting. So what was the experience like doing something like that? And how did it make you feel when your talent was being so highly recognised?
So I actually got scouted for the FA Advanced Coaches Centre about a year into my time playing girls football outside of school.
Yeah.
So it was quite early on for me. And it was incredible just to be in that environment with other girls who all wanted to pursue football. Like, I hadn't been in an environment where everyone is just so into football like I was. I think for me, the biggest thing that came out of that is my parents realised that football was a potential option for me, because up until then, they weren't super keen on me playing football, especially after getting kicked off the boys' team and realising how hard it might be to be a girl in football. I think when my talent was recognised, that gave them the confidence in me to help me keep pursuing it.
Yeah.
Because obviously as a young child, you need your parents' help driving you to matches and stuff. So I think that was quite a big turning point for me in that respect.
Wow. And that's so impressive to have that happen so early on as well for you. And then you progressed to become an Under Armour athlete, which is just incredible. So what was that like as well? What was the transition between those programs?
So yeah, the FA Advanced Coach Centre went up to about age 16, and I, in the last couple of years, with Cambridge United, to a few like women's teams and stuff. And then back in February, I signed a sponsorship deal with Under Armour, and it has been incredible since then. It's been one of the coolest experiences I've ever been part of. Just the experience and representation and all of that kind of stuff that they help us with is so much more. It was so unexpected as well when I signed with them, because they do a trialing period. Like 1,000 people tested for the season I did, and they narrowed it down to 3. And I just was not expecting at all to be in that 3. So when I found out, it was a big shock, but a nice one. And it's been an incredible experience so far, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
That's absolutely fantastic. And I know you're also in a part of the We See You network that 3 UK and Chelsea FC offer. And our writer, Jess Hilditch, who wrote She'll Play On, was also part of that network as well. And so it's so incredible to see so many women within that industry. And there was, I think it was social media. There was one about, I think, like the charity sector as well, and like community stuff as well. There's loads of different little sections that they had. But it was so incredible to see so many women that are working actively within football to try to make a change. So it's just so fantastic to see that you guys are part of such a network like that. So what sort of impact do you think the social media has had in sports over the recent years?
I think the impact social media has had on sport is massive. I think when you look at women's football particularly, the representation it's given it has been huge. Because when I was growing up and social media wasn't very big, wasn't on TV, and I just didn't see it. Like, I just wasn't really aware of the pathway or what existed or what the top level was like. So I think now to have that social media and so many people able to access it, I think it's been incredible for women's football. How many young girls can now see the top and see what the potential is for them in women's football. Is if you can see it, you can dream it, that type of thing. Like, they might not necessarily want to be footballers, but at least now they know that that's an option for them.
And it's just so inspiring to see what you're doing as well. And it was just something that you mentioned earlier about your motivation behind creating content on social media is because you wanted something like this growing up. So I think for a lot of other young girls, watching your content as well as watching other people's content as well, it's so inspiring for them to see that someone of kind of a similar age to them is achieving this much. It's something that they can try for as well. So I think it's so great to see so much more young people essentially just recording their journey into football as well. So what's one piece of advice that you'd give to that next generation of footballers?
I think the best piece of advice I've heard is that you have to fall in love with every single part of the journey, because football is so much more than just the matches or even the training sessions. It's everything else around it. It's eating right, sleeping right, doing the extra running and fitness and that kind of stuff. And if you don't love all of it, I think you're going to struggle to find that motivation and dedication to keep showing up on the days where it's hard and it's raining outside and you don't want to go on a run. So I think you just really need to love every single part of the journey.
That's really great to hear. And I think, Beatrice, one thing I think about when I talk to you and when I'm seeing your journey is how resilient you've been, because there's not a lot of young people who would have kept going at what they're doing, because you've been doing this for so long, and you should honestly be so proud of yourself for staying so resilient, and you're still doing it. And I hope you can still keep doing it the next however many years it's going to be, because it's so incredible to see you develop as well.
Thank you.
Do you know what? It's been fantastic speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I honestly wish you so much luck for your future.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really good. Thank you.
And we're excited to show you the film once it's finished.
I'm excited to see it.
Great. So thanks so much, Beatrice.
Thanks.